And now, it's The Law Show on CL 650. A comprehensive look at everything you need to know about the law.
Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! You know I need someone. Help!
And welcome to the show. Yes, it's The Law Show, and today we're talking about family law. And this has struck some people. Personally, I'm sure they're listening and they've gone through a breakup and divorce, or maybe they're thinking about it, or somebody in their family. We all know somebody that's gone through this. So we have our in-house lawyers here. David Halkett, he's a partner at McQuarrie Hunter, and Sarah Morse, associate at McQuarrie Hunter. We have them on regularly here on The Law Show to talk about everything that has to do with family law. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Zach.
And Sarah's back. Leah has been in the past month or so it's nice to have you back.
Thank you.
And we're heading towards the holidays now. In your expert opinion, what do you think? Is this a time when stress levels go up?
It does. Stress levels go up. The people want to have one last Christmas with the kids, and often separations happen in January. So
the phone will pick up in January?
It should, yes. Okay. Although it's pretty steady all year anyways.
All right, let's get into a little bit about your firm, McQuarrie Hunter. And you're a full-service firm, but this is sort of a boutique inside the firm where you have a family law practice, right?
That's correct. There's three of us who do the family law. Me, basically exclusively. Sarah does about probably 95% time, and then Leah's about half the time. We are unique in that we're a firm of 27 lawyers with an actual family law department. Family law lawyers tend to congregate together in smaller firms.
Yeah, and typically they're sort of standalone boutique firms, right? So being in a larger firm is different, isn't it?
Well, we find it's a great advantage for many of our clients because we have other departments. So we can do the conveyancing, we can deal with estate planning, we can deal with their business. So we can address all of their concerns in one place, which gives clients a one-stop shop for everything, which I think is really great.
So, by the way, we're helping you do that real estate. Do you want to see the family?
Exactly.
Anything you want to tell them while you're here?
Often it's the other way around.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They come to us, and then we send them down to the conveyancing. But yeah, no, that's true. And, we, if they want to create a company to transfer shares, our corporate department can do that and take care of them that way as well. So.
Okay. Give us you're a partner there. Give us this backstory on McQuarrie Hunter. What is the deal with this? Because it's a large firm in Surrey, right?
It is. We used to have three offices. We had, it started off in New West, and I think there was one in Sapperton and one in Whalley. In 2010, we all got together in the one office. I originally started at 104 and 139. It was a small office that's now a Service Canada, and I think Funky Monkey, is where it took over our spot. But if you see it, you'll know it. Exactly. We all got together in December of 2010 in the Central City Tower, just above the SFU. So it's right on the SkyTrain route. And the origins go back many years, but the firm itself started in 1967 when a bunch of lawyers merged into the one firm. And we've grown up. We have about 27 lawyers now and about 60 or so staff.
So is that Surrey Centre location been good, do you think?
Personally, I think so. I think it's very central. People can access it, by being at the mall. They can access through the SkyTrain. So you're not driving around looking for parking, which I know is sometimes a drawback for people heading to downtown or bigger commercial areas. So I think it's a real draw for us. It's easy to find parking. There's other services there. So it's a real benefit for clients.
Have you seen a real change in Surrey with that going in there?
It is, for sure. This was one of the first towers that was in Surrey. Now the City Hall's just come across the street. They're putting in the Marriott and the Convention Center, which is another tall tower you can now see, and there's residential towers all over the place. We're fortunate our end of the office. They're not blocking us. They're all going up north of our office. So
because everybody wants the view of the north, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So the first one in gets the view initially, and then it deteriorates.
Exactly.
But you see to the south. You see the whole of the Greater Vancouver, right?
I look out towards the airport, and so the furthest building I can see is the control tower.
Really?
Yeah, and at this time of year, Sarah and I will have really nice sunsets. Because
what are those?
Sadly, we're still there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whenever we get the sun.
Yeah, well, this has been a rainy fall.
It has been.
Okay, so David, tell us about getting into family law. You've been doing this for quite a few years, but when you got into law, this wasn't your first pick initially.
No, as with most people who go to UBC Law School, they think they're going to work at one of the firms downtown within 4 square blocks of the Four Seasons. They say I was going to do corporate work. I didn't think I could talk well enough in court. Used to watching guys like, Perry Mason on TV and everything who always know exactly what to say, right? Because it's been scripted for them. So I thought I'll never be able to talk that well. And as I articled downtown, I figured that I can talk, so I wanted to do litigation.
And here you are doing a radio show.
Exactly. Family was not something that I wanted to do. It didn't interest me particularly in law school. I took the course because it was part of the curriculum. And
does every lawyer need to have to do a term in that sort of thing?
No, it was an elective course.
Elective, okay.
But it as most people in school, it fit in my schedule perfectly. It was like I didn't have to go in late or.
Did you think it was an easy credit?
No, I didn't think that. But some of the concepts were interesting and such. And then when I got my first job as a lawyer, I did a little bit of it, but not a lot. And then when I left that firm, I went to a firm that did basically only family and some other civil litigation. And I kind of fell into it. So I've been doing it basically full on for 20 years now, 20 and a half years.
And Sarah, you are sort of newer to this, right? You have done mediation and things. So explain how you got into family law.
Yeah, I had also started off downtown, wanting to do corporate, and then ended up doing some work for workers' comp, did some policy analyst work and did some other areas. And I also did a contract for the government for a couple of years before coming over to Macquarie Hunter. And it wasn't something I had initially envisioned doing either, but my background was in criminology and psychology. So I found it to be a really nice blend of sort of the psychology
for sure, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the majority of our clients do tend to want some counsel on the side as well as legal advice. So I find it's a really nice mix. There's a personal touch. There is the emotion attached to it. So I found for me personally, it's a really good fit, and I really enjoy it. Well,
by hearing both stories, you start with one thing and end with another. Yeah. Is this a transition, or do you think this is the pocket you like? No, David, obviously you've been doing it 20 years. Do you like this work?
Yeah, I do. I'm not surprised by that. I always thought that might be a good fit for me, and I think that we have a really good team at McQuarrie Hunter, and we really balance things well throughout our department, and it's an area that I really like and I would like to stick with.
And the one benefit to it, Zach, is that every file is unique in that every person has their own personality when you're dealing with it. It's every area of law has its own challenges. Ours are some of the legal aspects may not be as complex as in some builder's liens and time limits and such, but we have the emotional fact thrown into it on top of it. And so that adds a little extra touch that we have to give compared to some other areas, which is far more clinical. Ours is, a bit of psychology.
I'm trying to imagine an area of law that would be more personal, other than if you're defending somebody that's up on a major criminal charge. Yeah. You're really in with them. If you're a criminal lawyer defending their case or what have you. So that's one-on-one relationship, right? If you're their defense lawyer. But I'm guessing other than that... Employment,
which is another area I do a little bit.
But employment again, is more dealing with the business that's you're trying to...
Unless it's if it's the employee and you're doing a wrongful dismissal, because then it really is sort of their life and career on the line, and they're they've been out of work and things like that. But I think it's very unique compared to any other area of law, because there really is that personal and emotional component on both sides that you just don't see in any other area.
And the arc is quite long too, right? Like when you first meet with somebody until their divorce is final, there's some months go under the bridge, right?
Exactly.
Years sometimes.
And you can end up with the same person having similar kind of repeat issues over years. So say they've come in and the children are young, they may come back in a number of years. The children are either changing homes or...
So you have clients you meet throughout their life,
different stages.
Right?
Exactly. I've had children of clients that came in at 2 and 3 years old, and then I was dealing with them when they were 15, 16, or even as up to university level. So it's a long-term relationship that we end up building.
And I'm guessing word of mouth is huge in this area of law.
For sure. We get referrals in the office. It's always good cross referrals that way. But a lot of it is, go and see my guy who I got the divorce.
Everyone's got a guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or a girl.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? You're one of the, it's like, I got a guy who knows how to fix your car. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And when you start getting friends of clients or that are getting referred to you, you know you've done a good job for the first one.
Now, what about the cocktail party and they sidle up to you and they want the free advice?
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought I'd ask you.
The interesting thing is when you're at a party and you know the two people, and then one talks to you, it's like, I really can't get involved because I know both of them, right? So you don't want to talk too much at those, but there's always people wanting.
In family law, can you represent both sides? Have you ever had that?
No.
You're not allowed to?
Well, it's a conflict, but just by definition, because they may have different sides, obviously, and different interests. In the past, I've known some lawyers who did a joint divorce for the parties if everything else was settled and they were just getting the joint divorce. But even that, I don't do that simply because it can always fall off the rails. And then before you know it, it's like, where do I go from there? And you can't act for either one.
Now, do you have one of you representing the wife and the husband inside the firm? Do you have that at all?
No.
Because it's all a firm conflict. It's all a firm conflict.
Okay.
The interesting thing is sometimes you've acted for one person, and then you get their boyfriend or girlfriend's divorce, right? So their new one, and then when they break up, you can't act for either one.
Oh.
So one of them calls you up and say, I need you to act for me. I said, well, I acted for both. So in the past, because what you may have learned from one of the clients will carry over.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. When we come back, we're going to get into what happens with when a client comes in, because I'm sure it's emotion-filled when you have family law. David Halkett, partner at McQuarrie Hunter, and Sarah Morse, associate, in studio talking about family law, and we'll pick it up next on CL 650.
There's more of the show still ahead. This is The Law Show on CL 650.